Ishmael, the God who sees the neglected and the struggle of the marginalized. Ishmael, a name often misunderstood. When people hear the name Ishmael, many people immediately associate him with conflict, hostility, and endless struggle. Genesis 16:12 contains a troubling prophecy. He shall be a wild donkey or a man, his hand against everyone and everyone's hand against him. At first glance, Ishmael seemed destined to be a permanent outsider, a fighter, a loner, someone always at odds with others. Yet Ishmael is not a vain invented by scripture. He is a real human being, born into a broken family situation. His story speaks powerfully to those who feel unwanted, those born into conflict not of their own choosing, those neglected or marginalized within their own families. Ishmael's life raises a profound question for us today. What does God do with people who are wounded by other people's faithlessness? Who was Ishmael? His origin and family context. Ishmael's birth was the result of human impatience. Ishmael was the son of Abraham and Hagar, Sarah's Egyptian servant. God had promised Abraham descendants, but Sarah grew impatient with God's timing. Instead of waiting, Sarah devised a human solution to a divine promise. Hagar was treated not as a person, but as a means to an end. Ishmael was born into a situation shaped by fear, impatience, power imbalance, exploitation. Ishmael grew up as a secondary son. For 13 years, Ishmael was Abraham's only son. Yet he was never truly secured in the family. His mother was a servant. His legitimacy was questioned. His position was fragile. When Isaac was born, Ishmael's status deteriorated rapidly. He went from son to threat, from family members to problem. God sees the neglected. The meaning of Ishmael's name, the name Ishmael means God hears. This name was given not by Abraham or Sarah, but by the angel of the Lord. Before Ishmael ever cried out, God heard him. This reveals a powerful truth. God does not only hear the prayers of the powerful, God hears the cries of the marginalized. Hagar calls God El Roi, the God who sees me. Ishmael's entire life stands as a testimony that being rejected by people does not mean being rejected by God. His hand will be against everyone. How do we understand this prophecy? This was description, not condemnation. Genesis 16:12 is often misread as a curse. In reality, it is a description of survival, not divine hatred. Ishmael would live in a hostile environment and would have to fight to exist. The praised wild donkey in the ancient Near East symbolizes independence, resilience, refusals to be domesticated or enslaved. A life shaped by conflict, not chosen conflict. Ishmael did not choose to be born into rivalry. He did not choose to be expelled into the wilderness. His aggressiveness reflects self-defense, not cruelty. When everyone's hand is against you, survival often requires strength, alertness, and resistance. The pain of constant opposition. Ishmael's life mirrors the experience of many today, children of broken families, those treated as mistakes, those blamed for problems they did not create. Constant rejection often produces guardedness, anger, emotional distance. Scripture does not hide this reality. It names He names it honestly. God did not abandon Ishmael. God reaffirmed his blessing. Abraham pleaded with God, "Oh, that Ishmael might live before you." God responded by reaffirming his covenant with Isaac, but he did not discard Ishmael. God promised Ishmael would be fruitful. He would father 12 princes. He would become a great nation. God rescued Ishmael in the wilderness. When Hagar and Ishmael were sent away, they faced death in the desert. Hagar wept, expecting a child to die. Scripture says God heard the voice of the boy. God provided water, guidance, and protection. Ishmael's survival was not luck, it was divine intervention. Ishmael is a mirror of the marginalized today. Ishmael represents people who live on the edges of families and society. These include stepchildren, children of divorce, illegitimate or unwanted children, the poor and displaced. Like Ishmael, many are labeled problematic when they are actually wounded. Scripture challenges us to see beyond behavior and into brokenness. Lessons for those who are neglected or marginalized. Lesson 1. Your origin does not define your worth. Ishmael's conception involves human sin and failure. Yet God still named him, bless him, and preserve him. Your worth is not determined by how you are born, whether you are planned, whether you are wanted. Lesson 2. God sees what others ignore. Hagar was invisible to Sarah, but visible to God. Ishmael was disposable to the household, but precious to God. God often meets people outside the tents of comfort, in the wilderness of pain. Lesson 3. Struggle does not mean absence of God. Ishmael's life involved tension, resistance, and survival. Yet God was actively shaping his future. A difficult life is not proof of divine rejection. It may be evidence of divine preparation. Lesson 4. Pain can shape strength without destroying faith. Ishmael learned to survive in harsh conditions. God did not remove all hardship, but he gave resilience. God sometimes answers our pain not by changing circumstances, but by strengthening the person. Lessons for families and the church. Beware of faith that hurts others. Sarah and Abraham were people of faith, but their actions caused deep harm. Spiritual ambition must never justify emotional cruelty. The church must ask, who are today Ishmael sitting quietly among us? The church must reflect God's compassion. God did not choose Isaac and Ishmael. He cared for both. The church must learn to hold truth without exclusion. Those on the margin should encounter healing, not suspicion. Christological reflection, Ishmael and the Gospel. Jesus himself was born in poverty, misunderstood, rejected by his own. On the cross, Jesus experienced ultimate abandonment. Through Christ, God declared, "You are no longer outsider, but members of God's household." The gospel is God's final answer to every Ishmael story. Hope for the Lone Ranger. Ishmael's life was hard, but it was not meaningless. He was not forgotten, erased, or cursed by God. God walked with him through rejection and wilderness. For every neglected soul, God still said, "I see you, I hear you, I will not abandon you." The God of Ishmael is still the God of the marginalized today. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show thy people in their aggression.